Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, we're talking about now, we're in Chidushei Ramban in the business halacha. Okay, page 36. Go where it's highlighted, right? And it says over here like this. Rav Yosef HaLewi. Yeah? Rav Yosef HaLewi comes and he says, Techimatsu me'ak ve'avnemata acharite, hanemile hecha deshavu aske adade, vedame adadi. When do you say that I could stop you from doing business? Only if the businesses are comparables. Aval hecha de lo shavu adade, but let's say they're not going to be comparables. Velochim de'ahimata Yisrael ninhu, and the people are going to be Jews. Lo matzi me'akve, they cannot stop you. He says, "Velo mechuvar gaban miditznan," but he says maybe it's not true. Why? It says, "Velo yivchot et hashar ve'af agav ditznan alav hachachamim omrim." Right? Zachul letov mishum tekra marvach tar'e hatam hu bivnei. Right? De'ahu mata mishum da'amale Oziel at v'zavin. Go cheaper and then sell. Aval avnei mata achrite me'akev, but they could stop from another person selling from another city. That he does have it. Delav bar mate, who he's not from the same city. So it's basically he's making a differentiation between the people of the city or not the people of the city. Because if it's the people of the city, you could just tell them, listen, make your prices cheaper. What do you want? Right? But not if he's coming from outside. Remember, when you come from outside, you don't have the same how do you call it? The expenses, the same overhead expenses. So therefore, obviously, you're going to make a difference in the prices. Right? Somebody that comes and is going to set up shop and he doesn't actually have a physical shop here in Harding, no matter how expensive he's going to be, it's going to be cheaper than a store that's going to be on Harding. Now, the reason why is because you have all the overhead of all the rent and the this and the that. So obviously, it's not comparable. You can't tell me, well, his prices are cheaper. Well, obviously, are you paying rent? No, he's paying rent. So obviously, your prices are going to be cheaper. So he says, aval, hai, vaday matzi me'akev, ahu bar mata achrita. But you could be me'akev on another, right, city. If not, לעולם לא יעכב. You can never stop. שיהיה אפשר שלא יוזל השאר כשיש שם הרבה בני אומנות זו ותקנה להוכחים ודאי היא. זאת תקנה להוכחים. אלא שמאמינה כיוון דאית לפסדה, since he's got a loss, לאו כל מיני דלתה ברמת האחרית, you can't have somebody else come from another city, right? ולתקון להוא ללוכחים ויפסיד למוכרים, and he's going to cause everyone to stop, right? They're going to start losing money. אבל בני המדינה רשאים להתנות שימכור בכך וכך. But the people of the city, they're allowed to make conditions that you could sell at a certain amount. ואם לאו, and if not, שישיבו שם אחר, ובלבד, right, בשער, right, he says over here, בשער בינוני, right, שיפה לשניהם. ומי הוא לא שבו, right, עסקי הדדי, ודאי מודיד את מצו למימה לעסקך גריעה, והך עסקי שפירה, וכעסקה אחרית אדמיה, והלך דקבתי. He says it's a completely different thing. Look in the bottom, he says over here like this. Rav Yosef HaLevi is the Rimigash. So the Rimigash, remember that the Rambam was a Talmid of the Rimigash, and the Rimigash was a Talmid of the Rif. Some people say that he wasn't Mamash a Talmid, he only kissed his hand, but he became great just because of that. But whichever one that it is, right, he comes and he says, right, this is the Rimigash. So he says, he's itil livnei ir acheret limkor et mocher bezol yoter mimochei ha'ir, sheken hu tovat ha'lekuchot. Meaning like this, the Ramban is arguing on the Rimigash. The Rimigash comes and he says, you know what? When am I allowed to stop somebody coming from the outside? Only if it's going to be the same price or more expensive. But let's say he comes from the outside and he's cheaper than the people inside the city. Says the Rimigash, mutar.
Well, but that brings competition.
Yeah. So he says mutar. Why? Tovat lekuchot.
So you can stop people.
What do you mean you could stop? No, you can't stop him. You cannot stop him.
You want to stop or mutar to let him in?
No. It's you can't stop him. You cannot stop the guy coming.
Because you're making the people benefit?
Yes, because the people are benefiting. One second. The Ramban palig. The Ramban argues on the Rimigash. He says why? He says shemochrei ha'ir yicholim la'akev, right? That the people that are set, they could actually stop him. Ach im em mochrim min acher legamrei, if they're selling something completely something else, kulan memodu sheyicholim limkor, they could sell. So, for example, let's say these people that are coming from the outside, they're coming from outside and they're selling something different.
Same thing.
No, if it's something different. So, for example, let's say, it's something new that they still don't have here. So I'm allowed to come and I'm allowed to sell, right? Why? Right? Because there's nothing here.
But what does that have to do with the cheap?
No. There's two different halachot. One more time. First halacha is that what happens if they're going to come and they're going to beat my prices? So according to the Rimigash, mutar. Why? Tovat lekuchot. Meaning we're not looking out for the seller. we're looking out for the protection of the buyers. And since the protection of the buyers, we want to protect them. So if they're going to come and they're going to be cheaper, I cannot stop them.
But this whole book is about protecting the owner of a business, not
The owner of a business when it's nothing to do with another, not hurting the public, exactly. Meaning that we don't, what do I care if it's you or you? He's coming from out of town. You're in town. You're both the same price. What do I care, right? The opposite. I have to protect you because you're from the city. I have to support you. You're the one that you pay the taxes to the city. I have to come and have to, 1 minute, 1 minute. So therefore, right? So therefore, what happens is that it's going to be 100% that I come and I have to protect you. However, though, in a case where, right now we have a high price and there's going to be people coming from the outside and they're going to break the market. And so therefore, Tovat HaLekuchot, says that Imigash, surpasses everything else. Tovat HaLekuchot, the best for the purchasers, for the buyers, nobody could stop them. That is the Shita of the Rimigash. Next inyan. First of all, the Ramban comes and the Ramban argues. Right? The Ramban comes and he argues. And he says, first of all, that's incorrect. I hold that you cannot. You could still stop him. Why? You cannot stop him. At the end of the day, he brings a proof from the Gemara. He says, "Lo yivchot et hashar," that you can't bring down the prices and you can't do this. You can't. So you can't do such a thing. So therefore, that is the obviously. Yeah, he says, right? He says, right? He says, right? He comes and he says, you cannot stop him. Yeah, right. So he says like this. He says, right? He says like this. He says, however, though, what happens if it's not the same product? What happens if it's not the same product? He says, right? He says, if it's not the same product. So then he says, so according to everybody, you could do it. You remember? That's why I told you, if you remember, right, when we spoke about the case of the pizza. You remember we spoke about the regular pizza, and then we spoke about no, not square, because that's the same thing. No, first of all, it was a completely different taste, and it was an individual pies. They were completely different. It's a different mind. It's a different concept. It's not the same. Meaning, if I have a birthday of a child, I'm not going to come and I'm going to take this, how do you call this, small little tiny pies? I'm going to take the big regular pies. That's it. And the majority of people, they still want the regular pies. If you want something different, a different taste, a different, I don't know what. So now I'm going to come, I'm going to say, you know what? This is something new, right? This is something new, right? Shawarma. Shawarma is the same in every single place. But what happens if I'm going to come and I'm going to do something different? It's going to be a different type of a lafa, a different type of I don't know what.
There's the people that do the shawarma like
that's the same though. It's exact same.
Now they made in Israel a barbecue.